All right, everybody, let's do it. It is time for the Bob Ryan, Jeff Goodman, Tanguay along for the ride. YouTube and podcast. We are driven by three great sponsors. HelloFresh. You want to eat right? Easy cooking. HelloFresh is the way to go. Also by Upside. Upside's a great way to save money while you're spending money. More on those coming up. Okay, guys, let's get to it right away. Bob, I'll start with you here with the Celtics. After dropping a couple on this road trip, we were like scratching our heads with these losses, especially with Oklahoma City. But it seems that Tatum going to the hoop, they've righted the ship.
Yeah, well, although they made life much more precarious than it should have been against the Bulls in the end. Also, they didn't exactly blow out the Spurs, who were stricken of three players, and then they caught the Bulls with Rosen getting hurt. The question for me is very simple. I got the simple question yesterday from in the bank or wherever the hell. What about the Celtics? Or I was actually at the dump, and I said, there's no question they have enough talent to be the 2023 NBA champions. Do they have the collective maturity to do what it takes to negotiate the season and the playoffs? That is an open question. And even though they went to the finals last year and we're up, and you say, well, even though we saw what happened, and this year sometimes they play great, and sometimes we wind up slapping them on the wrist and saying they didn't take it seriously enough, and you wonder what's going on in their heads. But there's no question they don't need any talent upgrade. The only one thing they need always, and I'll get off the soapbox, is Robert Williams there, present and accounted for when you need him. And that's going to be the question in the spring, for sure. Is Robert Williams going to be there, assuming that everybody else is too? Because without him, there's nothing to talk about. They're not winning anything. With them, they can win it.
You know what the good news is? Robert Williams is actually on the court right now. Chris Middleton isn't, and Kevin Durant isn't.
Right. That's it. Yeah.
Well, will they take it?
It's all about that. To me, again, I really do think it probably comes down again that one of these three teams, I think we would probably all agree that maybe I'm discounting Cleveland here, but I think you're probably talking about Boston, Milwaukee, and Brooklyn as the three teams that you're feared by in the Eastern Conference ultimately when it gets to the postseason. And my guess is one of them is probably going to take themselves out of the equation due to an injury to one of their star players. And then it'll leave two. And those will be the two that'll probably end up playing for the Eastern Conference Finals. But again, health is so important, and that's why load management does matter at this point, especially with Robert Williams.
Yeah, well, by the way, health. You mentioned Durant, and he's going to be out supposedly a month. They had been the hottest team in the league over a period of time. It's roughly 20 and 19 and 3 at one point. I know that. And with Irving back in the lineup playing great, which as he can do.
Your guy.
And they're getting other pieces. They're getting other pieces back. And anyway, they were fine. Now we can see if they can keep their head above water, to borrow a phrase, without Durant. And we'll see.
They're going to fall back in the standings. I mean, without Durant, let's face it.
You would think so.
They're going to fall back in the standings, but Brooklyn is the one team to me, and no disrespect to Milwaukee and to Boston, but Brooklyn's the one team to me because of the veteran experience, Bob, that they could finish 8th and win the title.
That's a good point.
That's what I see. Like if the Celtics and Milwaukee fall apart, they don't have home court. But Brooklyn, to me, just get in. And they could go on a run.
And that's a very good point. I hadn't thought about it specifically in those terms, but I think you're right. And on the fly here, I think you're right. Another team that I don't think, I'm going to be saying, oh, goody, we're playing them. Not that I don't think the Celtics wouldn't win the series, but Philadelphia on a given night.
Sure.
I mean, Embiid is we got to give the guy credit. The guy's a monster. The guy is just some nights
he's one of the most talented Bob, when you look overall at skill set of big men, is there anybody? I'm trying to think. Is there anybody else that could or has been able to do what Joel Embiid has?
Well, right in the contemporary game, not at this level, and he is so much a modern big man because he can face up and hit threes and he can post up, and he's one of the few guys left that can do that. The other guy that I think can do both, but not to the level that he can do it, is Karl Anthony Towns. And he but no, Embiid is special.
I think, Bob, don't you have to make the statement, or can you make the case he's the most complete big man the game has ever seen? I mean, I know I may be subject to hyperbole here, but if you take a look at his size, I see the size of Wilt. I see the handle skills of Jabbar. And I see the outside shot of Duncan. To me, I mean, he's the most complete big man I've ever seen.
Well, the big men now, so many of them can shoot threes, but he's certainly.
But he's so thick, though, dude. You know what I mean, Jeff? He reminds me of he's thick.
And he plays with a ferocity most of the time. I mean, again, I know people. He blocks shots. He runs the court. He chases guards down from behind and blocks their shot. Like, if he's healthy, and that's the sad part, I guess, in a little bit, we forget, like, Joel missed, 2 years? Basically.
The season, right, his career was we weren't sure he was going to have a career.
Right.
It's an open question.
You always wonder. Again, that's one that you always wonder about. You're wondering with Kevin Durant when he comes back. Middleton, he's been hurt now for the better part of the last year plus. And now, Joel, it's always that big concern. Between Joel and Harden, the two of them, I just don't have confidence both of those guys are going to be clicking and healthy when the playoffs start.
I mean, health aside, who's the MVP? Would it be Joel or would it be Tatum?
There is none right now. I don't. What about Luka? What about Jokic? I think that's the beauty of this year is I don't think there's a clear cut.
No, not right now. It's wide open. It's there's a lot of names. I don't. The little guy, Ja. I mean, look what they are, and you got to give him some consideration.
Giannis is still in the equation.
Giannis, right.
Right. I mean, I think honestly, to me, the tiebreaker in something like this might be team success, but then you do that, you're kind of faulting Luka for not having nearly enough around him.
Right.
By
the way, speaking of candidates, I don't know if you noted, I just took note before we got started. Jokic had as one of the stranger triple doubles ever accomplished last evening. In that, he was 5 for 5 from the floor en route to his triple double. I mean, I'm a connoisseur of box scores, as you know, and
he only took 5 shots last night.
That's correct, and he made them all, and he had 10 points along en route to a weird triple double.
Did you see the one pass he had?
I saw a reference to it. I'm going to go look it up.
Bob, it is ridiculous.
I didn't have a chance to
oh my God,
punch
he
it up.
drove baseline and hooked the ball around. You thought there's no way he's going to throw the ball there to I forget who it was, wide open underneath the basket. But how did he see him? And then how did he get the ball to him? Again, the way he hooked the ball around.
I'm going to go check it out.
He is, honestly, I think now I'm ready to say he's the best passing.
Whoa.
I think he's better than LeBron.
Is he better than Bird?
I think he's better than Bird. He's better than LeBron.
Well, we're talking about he's still ostensibly a 5-man, he's
definitely the best passing 5-man.
So since Walton's just a grand standard of excellence. To start with Walton, and
you don't think Jokic is better than Walton as a passer?
I'm saying I'm willing to concede that he might be as good.
I think he's as good as LeBron or Bird. To me, the standard is what? What's the standard overall? Is it Magic? Is it Stockton?
It's not. Stockton piled up the assists, but so many of them were
Malone on pick and roll.
Malone pick and roll.
Right.
I mean, not to denigrate him. I love John Stockton, but no, he's not in this.
So Magic,
Bird. Look, Magic, of course, and Magic had the ball. Magic and Bird, absolutely, and LeBron.
I think Jokic is right there with those guys.
And LeBron's
right there.
Well, the argument you could make, Jeff, for your cause is Bird and Magic had Hall of Famers to pass to, and your discussion about Jokic, he just doesn't have that. Now, the reason why Larry was so good is, and Bob knows this better than anybody, is every player on the floor knew where to be. right?
And he got rid of it quicker than anybody. That was the thing. He knew before he got it, he knew where it was going. It was not.
I'm glad you brought that up, because for the umpteenth time, I will point out that no one in the history of the game accomplished more with the ball in his hands less than Larry Bird. Right. And that is indisputable, because all the other people we're talking about have the ball in their hands all the time. And that was not the case with Larry Bird, and starting with LeBron right now. And so, but anyway, it's a fun discussion. I'll just go. I'm willing to go as far, guys, as Jokic may be the first guy who is Walton's equal. I'm not ready to name him as
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, I think it's just great in this day and age that we're talking about the passing game.
Yeah, sure.
We're talking about the passing game, because in some ways it is a lost art. Did we have a brand new sponsor? Mm-hmm. Hello Fresh. Now, this is the way it starts. Okay, you get to say, I got this at my door. Did you guys get one of these yet?
I did not.
Probably back home.
You got yours back home. Yeah. Right. Then you open up the bag from Hello Fresh, because I do the cooking, and you got a carrot. All right, keep your comments to yourselves. And then you got all your vegetables. You got your lettuce. Now this is a curry dish, but everything is right in here, and it's properly measured, which for guys like me is awesome. 15 minutes later, this is what you get.
Nice.
All right, that's what you get from HelloFresh. So I did this the other night, because I've always been kind of like, wait, I can go to the store. I mean, this is the truth. This is the first time my family has complimented me on cooking. No lie. So, I mean, I'm just telling you out of the blue. That's a personal experience. Now, to make the client happy, I'll tell you all this. You've got seared and steak potatoes with the Béarnaise sauce. You got Southwest pork and bean burritos, falafel power bowls. So just check out HelloFresh. And you can save money. It's not as expensive as you think. It's fast. It's easy. And you're not always going to go to the grocery store, because everything's right here. It just shows up at your door. Farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. So you don't even have to go to the grocery store. I'm doing it. So there you go. That is HelloFresh.
I'm going to do it when I get back from
Guys, it's so easy. It's unbelievable.
I need easy.
Oh, but trust me, so do I. So we're done with the Celtics here. Let's go on to I was looking at New Orleans. And are they going to be able to tread water without Zion, Jeff? Because they're 2-2 without him. They're not taking a nosedive. What do you think?
I think they can tread water. I always just worry again. When is Zion? When they say 3 weeks for Zion, does that mean 6 weeks? You just never know when he's going to come back. And you hope that David Griffin by now understands. Throw it on the high end with Zion. And hopefully he comes back earlier than the 3 weeks. I think they said 3 weeks for him to come back from his, what is it, a hamstring or? Hamstring. So they got enough talent. They can tread water, especially.
Well, I don't think that is well known, that they have enough talent. I think it's viewed at just at Zion and that's it.
Yeah, they're not like. I mean, again, I think the beauty of their team is Zion's kind of their star, but they've got now Griffin did a good job putting shooters around him, where that was not the case when he came into the league, if you remember.
Right. Yeah.
They had remember his point guard was Lonzo Ball. Well, that's not what you want. You can't have your top guard being a guy who's a mediocre 3-point shooter. So now you got CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram. Like those two dudes can shoot it. Yeah, they're floor spacers. So, and they can carry. Either one of them is capable of going for 30 on any given night. So, yes, I think New Orleans can be a 500, maybe even better team without Zion. But ultimately, if they want to do anything in the playoffs, and that'll be the fun part. I think that, like, I hope Zion is healthy for the playoffs, because, listen, not a lot of people are watching New Orleans, but in the postseason, everybody starts watching. And could they make a run right now? You look at the West and you're like, I don't know who's going to get there. So maybe they could make a run all the way to the NBA Finals. And if Zion goes to the finals and we're watching healthy Zion, you don't think the world, the country,
oh my God,
be like, oh my God, because we haven't seen much of him.
No.
Well, you know him, Jeff. I mean, he's such a great personality. He's such a unique player. I mean, he's just a fun player to watch.
Yes, he is, and he's he is kind of a unicorn. I mean, again, we hit Bob with all these questions of like, have you ever seen anybody like this? There's no way you've seen anybody like this, Bob. There's been nobody at this extent of
I mean, you think like Leonard Truck Robinson, but Robinson can't carry this.
That's not a bad antecedent. That's an ancestor type for him.
Yeah,
that's a good reference point. Truck Robinson is a good reference point, body wise.
Was he super athletic like this?
No. I'm saying,
he's not. No, but he's the closest thing.
That's the beginning of the lineage. Is what I'm saying, Jeff. No,
Yeah.
Oh no, he wasn't. But he had a body type that was sort of similar, and his forte was rebounding.
So did Charles Oakley, but Charles Oakley couldn't jump.
This guy. No,
but like Truck could score. That's all. I mean,
this guy's a freak though. Like he's a top 5 athlete, and you look at him and you're like, he should be a defensive end.
Oh, no question. There've been.
Oh yeah.
He is sui generis. There's never been anybody of that package.
Right.
Who brings to the table exactly what he brings with that body. And the question has always been from day one: how many times we talk of this incessantly? Can that body hold up? Will that body allow him to have a successful NBA career? And instead of being a pass rusher, which he would have been a hell of a pass rusher. So, he's special. And the word unique applies to him. There's the game has never had this particular package, total package at that size, 6'7", 285, whatever it is, and with the requisite reflexes and quickness and all that. No, he's special.
If he's healthy, Jeff, let's talk from a marketing perspective, because we know what he can do on the floor.
Yeah,
if he's healthy.
He's got to get to the deep in the playoffs.
Right. But I mean, what's his personality like? Like if this guy played all the time and they went to the finals, does this guy have a Shaq personality?
No, not like that. I mean, Shaq's like one of a kind person.
Right.
But he's got a great personality because he's got that smile, and it's kind of an infectious personality where you just feel like he's always kind of talking to you, and he's locked into you, and it's just a nice, sweet kid.
Well, and he's also got the one name. I mean, Zion.
Exactly. That helps.
I mean, Magic Larry, Zion. Go down.
Here's the other thing with New Orleans guys. Here's the other thing. So they've got their kind of 3-pronged stars, right? Like they're 3 guys.
Yeah.
Zion, Ingram, and CJ McCollum. And Valanciunas has been really good too, by the way. But what David Griffin has done an incredible job of, absolutely incredible job, is the supporting cast. Okay, so drafted Herb Jones, who's an elite level defender out of Alabama. Najee Marshall. A lot of people didn't even think he'd make the league coming out of Xavier. He's been absolutely awesome. And who am I forgetting?
There's one I'll throw for you. Alvarado,
tough.
Alvarado is
kid.
sneaky good.
Tough kid who was undrafted. Nobody thought in hell. And then Trey Murphy, who transferred. He went Rice to Virginia, sat out, played 1 year at Virginia, shoots the shit out of the ball. So, I like the pieces around him almost like, remind me a little bit of like what Memphis has done with their pieces around Ja. But the difference, they don't have Ja, but they've got 3 guys that are all like all-star caliber players with Zion, Ingram, and CJ McCollum.
Yeah,
and high character guys too.
We're gonna continue to talk about the West in a minute, but now I have to tell you about Upside, the cashback app that enables people to get more value from their purchases. It improves their profitability of local businesses so communities can grow stronger. Here's the deal: I buy gas with it. You're basically going to get money back when you buy your gas. You're going to have to use a debit card or a credit card. And then the cash is going to appear in your Upside account. You can cash it out through a bank transfer, PayPal, e-gift card, Amazon, Starbucks, or dozens of other places. There's no limit how much you can earn. It's real cash back, no points or loyalty rewards here. Users get real cash and can cash out at any time. businesses love this, by the way. So it's not just if you have an upside card, it's not like you're going to have to go looking around to find a needle in a haystack. Users are earning 3 times more cash back in upside than any other product, including loyalty programs and credit card rewards. Sharing upside with friends helps you increase your earnings. So check out Upside. I've used gas to buy it. It's a good way to go. When I was taking a look at New Orleans, Bob, I was looking at the West. Do you think, and right now as we talk, it's Nuggets, Grizzlies, Pelicans, Mavericks, Kings, Warriors. I know you like the Kings. Curry's getting healthy. The Clippers have really been hurting lately. Anthony Davis is supposed to be healthy. Do you see the top 8 changing at all, or is this the West? Do you think we're going to see it at the end of the year?
Oh no, the West to me, it's a dartboard. I don't know.
I thought it would have changed by now.
Nothing definitive to be said. It's going to be that kind of year. It's wacky. It's almost reminiscent of college basketball, which I want to get to Jeff about, in terms of who's number one, and it's any different than who's number 22. And no, the West is wide open. I mean, literally and truly, I would be very hard pressed to pick a favorite, quote unquote, to get to the finals from the West. Which is good for fans. A lot of cities are going to have a lot at stake when March comes, I think, in the West. So a lot of speculation about what
who won't be there. I'll give you 3 teams: Houston, San Antonio, and Oklahoma City.
Okay, all right.
But, I wonder, though, Jeff, I sit here and I go, okay, it's January, whatever. And, when are they going to make a run? I know post All-Star break is when it matters, but I wonder if the Lakers are making one. I said, the Suns will make a run. The Lakers will make a run. There'll be a market correction. The Clippers, I don't know if there's going to be.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they'll make a run per se, but will they get in the playoffs? Will they knock, again,
Portland
or Minnesota? I mean, I don't know if they will. I don't know if the Lakers will go on a run like that. But I think you got 4 teams in Utah, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and Houston that are not going to be able to make up ground. The Lakers are the one team right now that's out of the playoff picture today that could easily get in there. And who do they knock out? I don't know. But like Bob said, the disparity from 1, which is Denver or Memphis right now, to 10, which is Portland today, isn't that great. I mean, it isn't that great.
Then, of course, we've got a wild card when time comes, depending on, of course, who's healthy in Golden State. How do we make this? What do we make of this home road the discrepancy that they have? Why are they so with all those veterans? Why are they so bad on the road this year? I don't know. No.
Yeah, 3-16 to be exact, at the time of this recording.
That's the number one mystery of this far in the season, is that no one would have predicted that.
Nope.
Ever.
Bob, I know you want to get to the college element, but you wanted to say something about.
I want to say this. This is by way of a public confession. I'm very happy to be wrong, and I'm wrong about a guy that I was right on, but I was wrong at the same time. I.e., Jalen Brunson. When the Knicks signed him for 4 years and have reported $104 million, I said they got the right guy, but my God, they're paying him like he's a star. He's not a star. He's a wonderful auxiliary player that I would love to have on my team. He's in my rotation. He's my 6th or 7th man, 8th. And oh my God, you know what he's done the last 4 games, Jalen Brunson? Well, I'll tell you. 24, 40, 26, 44. 44. Now they lost the game last night, but he's averaging 21 points a game for the season. He is, in fact, a star. So stop me when I'm wrong, Jeff. But
he's also averaging 6 assists over the last 4 games.
We all knew he knew.
He rebounds. He rebounds. He defends, and you know what he does, Bob? He just wins, man. Like he's an intangible guy. As much as you're giving me numbers, and those numbers are incredibly important. But what doesn't? Again, how many? I would love to do this for next week. This would be a good thing that we can do for next week. How many point guards are you taking right now over Jalen Brunson?
All right, that's good. Okay.
That's your homework.
Okay, I like that. Okay?
All 3 of us.
How many
point guards are we taking over? Because Jalen Brunson just has that it. And here's the thing with the Knicks, and their administration or management or whatever you want to call them, Leon Rose and Worldwide West, has been a joke to me. They've been a joke for several reasons. One, we won't even get into it with the media. The fact that they literally don't deal with the media at all is a complete farce. But what they did was they made the right move here. Whether you thought it was overpaying or not, they had to get better. They had to get in the equation right now. And they're in the mix now. And a couple of years ago in the bubble, they were in the mix, but they fell right back off. You kind of saw it was fraudulent. Now I think Jalen Brunson makes it so they're going to be a playoff team every year as long as they have enough pieces around him. And the pieces got to get better for them to take the next step, obviously. But they're in the equation right now as a playoff team. And to be honest, they could win a playoff series with Brunson, with Randall, get RJ Barrett back. You know, he's just such a good teammate, such a good player, such an intangible guy, and man, he's better than we all thought.
I just saw this, and I think I saw what you were talking about in him at Villanova. I've been a fan of his since I laid eyes on him, but I maybe I was guilty of I don't know what the word would be to do it, but I just doubted his athleticism to be a star in the NBA.
Sure.
I thought he'll have a job. Coaches will love him. Everyone would want to bring him to camp. You know, all that stuff. You knew he'd have a job, but I didn't see him being a primary player. He is a primary player right now, and I didn't see that. I'm glad I'm wrong. You know, that's great.
Well, it doesn't happen often, Bob.
Oh no, well, more than you think. But
what about you had a question before we?
I just said, Jeff, how would you sum up this up to this point in time, first week in January, the second week of January, the college season thus far? If you had to synthesize,
well, here's all you need to know. We're one loss away from a top 25 that will not have Kentucky, Duke, or Carolina in it, or Indiana for that matter. Okay, all four of them came into the year with high aspirations, right? I mean, Kentucky, some people had like top 3, Duke top 10-ish for a lot of people. Indiana was supposed to win the Big Ten, and Carolina, man, they were number 1 for everybody. And all 4 have been disappointing so far for different reasons. So what does that do? That allows a lot of these programs that, really we haven't been talking about for years, they've come on lately a little bit. Houston, Alabama.
Beat Kentucky by 26.
Killed them. Yeah, boat raced them. Purdue has a little, Purdue's got, and this has to make Bob happy, Gary. The best player in the country is a 7'4", 285-pound junior named Zach Edey. And he's from Canada. I'm actually working a story on him right now. So from Canada, grew up playing hockey and baseball. He was a first baseman. Didn't start playing basketball till about 6 years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. Mm-hmm. Told me he arrives on campus coming out of the pandemic as a freshman. And he said, we weren't allowed to do anything in the pandemic. So he ballooned up to like 320. And he said he got there and he goes, I sucked. But Matt Painter's just kept telling everybody, keep feeding him the ball, keep feeding him the ball. He is now the best player in the country, Gary, bar none.
All right, one more flip side thing before we exit, and that is on the flip side, Georgetown has lost, at last count, 25 consecutive conference games.
Yeah.
Now, in any ordinary circumstance, the question would be, how does the coach keep his job? But we know this is not an ordinary circumstance.
That's right.
How far does this go on?
Till the end.
How far can they let this go?
Till the end of the year. The AD isn't making the call here. It's the president. He's the one with the power at Georgetown. He's been there forever. He is not going to fire Patrick Ewing, no matter how many games, no matter how many points.
Oh, I know he's not going to get fired now, but
the only way it ends is if Patrick Ewing, before the end of the year, is if Patrick Ewing goes in himself and says, you know what, I'm done. But I think he's got too much pride for that with the program.
But
it'll be the end of the year. Another discussion we can have at some point, guys, is, and this is a good overlapping one. This is a good NBA college one. The lack of success with NBA guys going to college and coaching. You know, Ewing, Mullen, Penny Hardaway isn't killing it. Juwan Howard's been good, but not great. Like, you can't find me a great one. You cannot find me. Fred Hoiberg was great at Iowa State. He's been terrible at Nebraska. Mark Price sucked going to Charlotte. You name it. I mean, Clyde Drexler was a catastrophe when he tried to take over his alma mater. And all these Isaiah Thomas sucked at Florida International. You can go on and on and on these. So at some point, I would love to have a deeper dive conversation on that.
Very good.
All right, gents, always a pleasure. Bob, Jeff, appreciate it. Driven by Upside, spend money, make money, and my new best friend, HelloFresh, because again,
you can finally cook.
Maybe look good in the kitchen, man. Just get it. You got to get it, man. You got to get the bag. Goes from the bag right here
to your stomach. That's
to your stomach to the pretty picture. All right, guys. Until next week, we'll see you.
So long.